This is the Angels POSTCAST, your instant game reaction for the Los Angeles Angels. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Sigh. Right back to losing. Hello, Halo Nation. Hello, Halo hopefuls, and welcome back to the latest edition of the Locked On Angels POSTCAST. Coming at you live, as always, after every single Angels game, right here live on the Locked On Angels YouTube channel, and after the fact, both on the channel and wherever the heck you get the Locked On Angels audio podcast feed. If you don't know who I am, what is going on, everybody? My name is Gavin Carlson, former credentialed journalist in the LA area, spent 4 years covering UCLA sports with the Daily Bruin, and now in year 2 with the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day. Our team is the Angels, and they've got people like 187 OMG saying, I can't do this anymore. Chimkin says it's safe to say we're going to 5th place. Nathan says it's the battle for the basement. The goal now is not to finish last. We've got Chocolatey Cat Soup calling Artie Moreno a horrible person, a super villain, saying death is guaranteed unless you're Artie Moreno. Oh my goodness. Death, taxes, and Angels losing seasons. 3 sure things. Man, oh man. The vibes are awful and not surprising because the Angels fall 7-3, and even that is doing this one not justice, right? That's a generous scoreline. The Angels were blown out in this ball game, and one of their only consistent players in 2025, Yusei Kikuchi, has his worst outing as an Angel. We will certainly get into that. The lineup did not do anything until the 9th inning, and so even while some of these stat lines look a little favorable for some of these hitters, even that's misleading because nothing happened until the 9th inning, but still, some positives in the 9th inning that we'll get to as well. Before we do, shout out to everybody in here. As always, appreciate you guys so much. Yes, David, you're absolutely right. It is time to root for bowl eligibility for our Bruins. I will be doing, that's maybe a good segue, a good time to quickly announce that in addition to doing, the weekly midweek show for the Rams, the Saturday show for the Rams, Saturday night, I will also be doing the first of this season edition of the Locked On UCLA postcast. And the difference is, just like with this, it will be on the Locked On UCLA YouTube channel instead of the Locked On Los Angeles YouTube channel. So if you are a Bruin like myself or a fan of the team, Locked On UCLA, the Daily Show is great over there, but the postcast will be over there with me on Saturday night after hopefully an opening win against those darn Utes. Yes, Angels win, says Gavin's the busiest man in the Bay. I am. You could probably see me wearing a button-down shirt here. I had to loosen it up to breathe a little bit, but literally I just got home from work like 10 minutes ago. Got a long commute from San Francisco coming back home. And so, hey, was watching the game on the train and did not miss much, as a lot of people are saying in here. So without further ado, let's get into it. And we're going to a little duel segment to start this one off. Oh, no, it's glitching on me, guys. Oh, it's glitching on me right when I'm trying to do it. I was going to say it's time for what the heck I'll be talking about and America's favorite segment, which is the turning point, because this game had its turning point at the beginning of the ball game.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
There we go. We got to work America's favorite segment. It is the turning point, and it was right away. You can make the argument that the turning point was even before Kikuchi came on the mound, because Zach Neto has his 27th double of the season, continues to be an unbelievable leadoff guy. I don't know. I mean, it's ironic. You normally want a leadoff guy to be a leadoff guy because it means they can get on base and be able to steal. With Zach Neto, this guy gets extra bases every single time. Not every single time, but extra base hits the first at bat of the ball game. It was the home run on the first pitch yesterday. Today, the second pitch of the ball game with a double off of Corbin. But the turning point is that Mike Trout with a hard line drive out to right field that, does advance Zach Neto. But then the painful thing is that Josh Young makes a diving play to rob Taylor Ward of an RBI single on a screaming ground ball. Neto does not score, not even a productive out, and then a screaming ground out from Joe Adell So the top of the first was already brutal. You have you have a double from Neto, and then you have Trout 99 miles an hour off the bat. It's an out. Taylor Ward 105 off the bat. It's an out. And then Joe Adell 108 off the bat. It's an out. So the vibes were already bad after that, right? You hit the ball well, you get screwed over a bit, and then we get to the bottom of the first, and things go from a bummer to bad to worse to game over. Yusei Kikuchi, I know there's been mixed feelings on him, right? He has been solid-ish, right? Has he been worth the price tag? Maybe not. Has he been good enough to be the ace on a really good team? No. But has he been good enough to be the ace on the Angels? Yes. Has he kind of justified the signing, even though maybe he's not worth the money for other teams, but he's worth it for us because of how bad the rest of our rotation is? Probably. But he's gotten, unfortunately, a little less successful as the season's gone on, and it all culminates with tonight, his worst start as an Angel. It's the first time that Yusei Kikuchi has allowed at least 5 earned runs in a start this season and in a start as an Angel, and it did not take much time at all. Leadoff walks, always going to kill you. It was a long at bat, but immediately a leadoff walk on Wyatt Langford to start the game. He does strike out Ezekiel Duran, but then he walks Corey Seager. I get it, it's Corey Seager, but he's also a lefty. It's lefty on lefty. Another tough at bat, right? The Angels did not roll over in this first inning or anything, despite what the score will show at the end of the first inning. The top of the inning, I just told you, they had 2 balls hit over 105 miles an hour with a runner on third base, and somehow you don't score a run. And then you have 2 full count 7-pitch at-bat walks, right? So it's tough. It wasn't like we rolled over or laid an egg or anything, just bad luck. And the Rangers also being a good team. Adolis Garcia immediately takes advantage with first and second, 1 out, and he rips a 1-1 fastball right down the middle for an RBI double. Then it's second and third for Josh Jung. He hits a base hit on what, unfortunately, is a much softer ground ball than what the Angels got out on earlier in the inning. But still, weak ground ball, but still a hittable pitch right down the middle, unfortunately. This one a curveball. That makes it 2-0. Now it's first and third for Cody Freeman. He gets a sac fly, hitting one pretty deep on a high fastball. That makes it 3-0. Unfortunately, we were just getting started because then in the bottom of the second, another leadoff walk, guys. Another leadoff walk. He walks Jonah Heim. Michael Hellman comes up, and he hits a 1-2 fastball. This was just downright unlucky. 1-2 fastball at the letters, maybe at his face, right? Outside as well. And yet he's able to somehow get all of it, right? He didn't just barely hit it out. Let's be honest. 103 off the bat, 383 feet to left center field on a ball high and away. Pretty unbelievable. That made it 5-0, and it's already Yusei Kikuchi's worst start as a Halo. Nathan says, walk, walk, walk this way to a loss. Yes, the common trend there, leadoff walk in the first, leadoff walk in the second. Some bad luck in between, right, or after those walks, but still, the baseball gods are not going to reward you after a leadoff walk, and that's exactly what happened here. And let's be honest, from that point on, it felt like the ball game was over. Unfortunately, Patrick Corbin kind of settled in a bit. It's also a lot easier to settle in when you are up 5-0, and despite a Bryce T base hit in the third, and a stolen base, doesn't matter, ends in a Mike Trout strikeout, despite a leadoff walk in the fourth from Taylor Ward. Immediately there's a double play from Joe Adell. That inning's killed. 1-2-3 fifth, 1-2-3 sixth, 1-2-3 seventh, right? At that point, it was over, right? At that point, it was over because it's 5-0, and now you're having 1-2-3 innings, and there's absolutely no sign of a comeback. We'll get to what happened in the ninth in a second, but I do want to quickly talk about what this Yusei Kikuchi start, the struggles, and what happened yesterday with Jose Soriano, what it all means for the rotation.
This is what you'll be talking about.
You know, I'm going to start going big picture, right, with these shows and start looking forward to the future and what each game and each at-bat and each pitch means for next year. And when you look at what happens yesterday with Jose Soriano pitching, Gem is a little exaggerating because it was only 5 2/3, but 5 2/3 scoreless innings, very impressive against this Rangers lineup. And I already talked about yesterday how important it is that he is good, because boy, oh boy, do we need him with how bad this rotation is going to be next year with how bad it is this year, right? This just exacerbates that, right? The fact that Jose Soriano, I think, has the potential to be a very good 2, maybe an ace in a rotation at some point, but at least a very good 2. Well, we need Yusei Kikuchi to at least be a very good 2, if not a serviceable ace. And a start like tonight reminds us that that's probably asking more of Yusei Kikuchi than what he actually is. So next year, I mean, Eric, you may be being a little rough saying Kikuchi is a 3 and Soriano is a 4, maybe on a World Series team, but on a team that's going to hopefully be in a wild card race next year, I think Kikuchi being a 2 and Soriano being a 2B and having a true ace, that's a good or a much better rotation, right? But, you know, of course, who the 1 in that situation and the 4 and 5 in that situation are going to be is a huge question mark. Certainly don't expect it to be Tyler Anderson or Kyle Hendricks or Reed Detmers or Caden Dana or Chase Solseth, right? Like, I don't think we're ready for it to be any of those guys yet, right? So certainly there's going to have to be a lot of spending on starting pitchers this offseason, which who knows if we're going to do. Maybe we're going to see Tyler Bremer in there before we want to see him. But the moral of the story is combining what we saw yesterday with what we see today, it's just a friendly reminder that our rotation needs a lot of help. And boy, oh boy, I know I believe it deep down that Soriano can be great, but maybe I'm manifesting it as well because it's wishful thinking, because boy, oh boy, he has to be good. Jose Soriano has to be great. And Yusei Kikuchi has to be better than what we've seen recently, or else this rotation is going to be brutal next year. And I actually think the bullpen is going to be decent next year. I think when Ben Joyce comes back, if we re-sign Kenley, Zephyr John will be a little bit better, right? Stevenson will be healthy and a little bit better. Detmers will be hopefully a little bit better, right? I think the bullpen next year can actually be very solid. But the rotation, which has already been average, if not below average, is going to be one of the worst in baseball unless there's some big acquisitions. And tonight reminded us of that. So unfortunate, poor start from Kikuchi. And it just, again, reminds us what needs to happen this offseason. When we come back from our break, we're going to talk about what happened in that 9th inning and also talk about the youth revolution and why we're starting to see it, but why we need to see it a lot more. We'll do all of that after our break here on a losing edition of the Locked On Angels postcast. I'll be right back. Now, on this Tuesday, today's show is brought to you once again by 5 Hour Energy. And boy, oh boy, I'll be honest, I wish I had some with me right now. Long workday, and I am tired. It's time to fuel up and turn it up with 5 Hour Energy Transfusion. This grape, ginger, and lime flavored shot brings the iconic taste of a golf course favorite to a non-alcoholic boost. Perfect for sinking birdies or making great memories with friends. It's a hole-in-one for your energy game. Whether you're out on the course or just need a little extra push to power through your day, 5 Hour Energy Transfusion delivers the clubhouse flavor you love without ever leaving the green. I'll tell you, I'll be honest. Today, I was on the train at 6:30 in the morning, and I was like, I can already feel it. I'm going to need a boost. And I did not have any with me, but fortunately, I went to the store and got some 5 Hour Energy at the Safeway in downtown San Francisco. After I got off the train, took the quick little shot while I'm walking to the office, and suddenly I have, just like it's advertised, 5 hours minimum of energy to get through the majority of the work day. And that's what it's all about, right? So whether it's golf, which is all about good times with good people and good flavors, or anything else, the grape ginger lime flavor of 5 Hour Energy Transfusion gives you the best parts of your clubhouse go-to without leaving the course or chasing down the bev cart. Now you can amp up the fun even more. Just buy, snap, and enter for a chance to win a dream golf trip for 2 to any golf tournament in the USA. Tee up that trip, visit 5hewin.com for full rules and entry. No purchase necessary, excludes the Masters tournament, and ends October 31st. And today's show is also brought to you by FanDuel. It's today, folks. Today is August 26th, which is officially FanDuel Futures Day. Don't waste any more time. It's a brand new holiday for football fans who live for bold predictions and preseason hunches. And for just 24 hours, and now for just 4 hours more, FanDuel is giving you deals on NFL season predictions. So whether you're calling your MVP, eyeing a long shot division winner, or ready to crown your Super Bowl champ before week 1 even kicks off, this is your moment, folks. Go bet on Justin Herbert or Joe Burrow or Saquon Barkley or the Rams or anything else. Maybe you want to bet on Travis Kelce now that he is a fiance, right? Visit the FanDuel app today and start planning your futures bets now, because Futures Day is one day and one day only. FanDuel, plan your play your game and do it now. Back here live on a losing edition of the Locked On Angels postcast. We already discussed Yusei Kikuchi, unfortunately having his worst start this season, his worst start as an Angel, his first time giving up at least 5 earned runs. It ended up being 6, unfortunately, as the Angels fall 7-3. They fell behind 5-0 after just 2 innings, 6-0 after the 4th inning, and then it became 7-0 in the bottom of the 7th. Now, fortunately, we did show some life in the top of the 9th inning. Of course, this again feels like typical 2024 Angels of the game being over and then us doing things, but that is the case once again today. We did lead off the 9th the same way Zach Neto led off the first yesterday, the same way he led off the first today with an extra base hit. The guy is the ultimate leadoff hitter, and he does it again in the top of the 9th. The fact that Patrick Corbin pitches 8 innings is infuriating, but Danny Columby comes in. Excuse me. I'm hearing things behind me. It's throwing me off. Zach Neto hits a solo shot off of him. Absolutely crushed it. 105 off the bat. It was a cutter right down the middle. Great to see that even in a blowout, Zach Neto can get it done, and he got it done multiple times. 2 extra base hits today. He is our star. No question about it. Mike Trout saves himself from another embarrassing performance with a base hit here as well. Matthew Lugo comes in. Unfortunately, he flies out. He actually hit the ball pretty hard. And then Joe Adell hits the ball very hard. 2-run shot. Unbelievable at bat. 9 pitches. Gets it to 3-2. First off, it's 1-2. Then it's 2-2. Then he fouls it off to stay 2-2. Takes ball 3. Then fouls off 2 more pitches before he gets a cutter at the knees and destroys it. That was so great to see. That made it 7-3. Of course, it doesn't mean anything in the grand scheme of things for the game, but certainly you love to see it for, the development, for the future, for all of that. Joe Adell's up to 783 on the OPS. He has 81 RBIs now. He breaks the 80 mark, and he also gets to 30 home runs, which is a huge milestone, right? Whether it's in a meaningless game like this or a meaningless inning like that or whatever, 30 home runs is unbelievable. Congratulations. We love to see that from him. Zach Neto, unbelievable as well, as he hits home run number 23 to go along with 27 doubles and all those stolen bases as well. Talk about the youth movement a little bit. Of course, Neto and Adell, part of it. Christian Moore, we loved seeing him start at second base. He did have another base hit today. And again, we're not expecting him to go 2 for 5 or 3 for 4 or anything like that. But if Christian Moore can hit a hard ball each game and preferably have a base hit each game, you love to see it. The average is 190 right now. If it gets to 210, 215 by the end of the season, that's certainly possible. That would be fantastic. Cavadas obviously struggles in this one. Bryce T does get a base hit. We also see Matthew Lugo, and I would love to see even more. What does that mean, Gavin? What does that mean? Do you have other young guys to see? Well, don't forget about the bullpen, right? Seeing a Chase Solseth do what he does tonight, where he has another scoreless inning. Yes, he gives up a hit. Yes, he gives up a walk, but still 2 strikeouts, scoreless inning. He's still just 25 years old. That's youth movement, right? Zephyr John, I know it doesn't feel like it because of how much this guy's been relied on already, but the guy's still only 27. Maybe not youth movement, but not an old guy either. Love to see him come in and have a scoreless inning as well. Sam Bachman, we know how much we're hoping he can be a part of the future of this team. Still just 25 years old. He comes in. Unfortunately, he gives up 2 hits and an earned run in this game with the solo shot, but still want to see him out there, right? And I know I talked about it yesterday. I did a little bit more research today about Kyron Paris. Sounds like the reports are people are hoping that he can be back in the next week or so. I know he had the 7-day injured list in July, and then it became a much more serious thing with the hand and everything. But let's not forget, before getting hurt on July 10th, he was 8 for his last 19 with 2 home runs over the past 5 games before that. He has shown both in the bigs and in the minors that he can have hot streaks. And so would certainly love and pray for him to get healthy in the next week or so we can maybe steal 3 weeks of Kyron Paris at the end of this season, in addition to Matthew Lugo, in addition to Christian Moore, in addition to Bryce T, in addition to Neto and Adell and Ohapi and, all that good stuff. Cavadas, I guess, as well, and all the bullpen guys as well. So that's the youth movement. I want to see more of it. Hopefully Kyron Paris can get back, but great to see Christian Moore get a base hit. Great to see homers from Neto and Joe Adell. Great to see a base hit from Bryce T. And hopefully we can see more of that tomorrow and going forward. Angels win, says try Detmers back in the rotation. Season's over. Why not try him back starting? I wouldn't be opposed, as much as I don't think he's proven that he's going to be good enough to do it. You do have nothing to lose. I don't know, I'll be honest, I don't know the most about stretching out and, the fact that he kind of reverse stretched out and downsized and became a reliever, how difficult it would be to stretch him back out and get him back to, a starting spot. Or maybe he's an opener and he just does the first 3 innings and we see how he performs just getting back on the mound in the first inning. Who knows? But I agree with you, Angels win. While we disagree on Nolan Shinwell, we agree there. Would certainly be okay with seeing that. Let's see what else. Mahoko says we need young aces, age 20 in their 20s. I think what you're saying. I totally agree. Larry S says, I wonder if some players are trying just not to get injured. I don't think so, because a lot of these guys have a lot to prove, right? Not a Mike Trout, not a Taylor Ward, but really other than that, and I guess Travis d'Arnaud, everyone else on this team has a lot to prove, right? Zach Nettle's still young. While he's a star, he's still young. Taylor Ward, who knows where he's going to be next year and the year after that, right? Never has gotten that super big contract. Still wants it. Joe Adell, of course, still uncertain on how great his career can be. Rengifo still has a lot to prove. Christian Moore is young. Cavadas is young. Bryce T is young, right? So I think I disagree. I think most of these guys have a lot to prove, and they're still going to play hard every single game. Larry also asks, is Bart still dirty? I'm taking Caltrain, not Bart. I'm on the peninsula going up to SF, so I'm able to stay on nice, clean Caltrain. Wiffle Ball Pro asks, do you think we should trade Mike Trout? I don't think you're going to get much for Mike Trout, and I think he is of more value to this franchise, both whether it is, unfortunately, soft, fluffy things like PR and selling seats and stuff, which I don't really care about, but as someone who loves Mike Trout, who has a Mike Trout jersey, who wants Mike Trout to never be anything but an Angel, I don't think you could get enough for Mike Trout to justify severing those ties, right? It's not like a different situation where, oh, we love Taylor Ward, he's an Angel, but you might get a lot for him, and and he's not a legend that he is with the Angels. Mike Trout is the Angels, right? Whether we want to admit it or not. And so he's not going to get a Mike Trout haul, and he's not, not a guy that you want to see leave the franchise, whether he's good or not. And he's still average. He's not terrible. He's still average. So yeah. But with all that being said, we're going to wrap this one up. Appreciate you guys. As always, make sure to leave a like, comment, all that good stuff. Thanks for sticking with me. Hope the Angels can pick up a win tomorrow. Would love to pick up that rubber match victory. And then we've got Thursday off before we go to Houston for a gross series against those disgusting Houston Astros. So I'll see you tomorrow night around the same time. Have a great rest of your Tuesday. Thank you, Mark T, for calling it a good show. See you tomorrow. Mahoko. Wiffle Ball says, why are we not bringing up Caden Dana? Hey, let's not stunt people's development. Maybe they think he's doing better not being up here, and I'm not really that opposed to that. But have a great rest of your Tuesday, guys. Take care and go Angels.